What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. It is the 27th day of February. Here we are sitting at about $65.8 thousand with roughly 11 hours left in the day. Hit that like button, subscribe, and thank you all for being here. Let's get into it. Okay, here we are. Dropping below $66,000, which you guys know what that means, right? I told you if we do not hold 66K, likely this is not the low. Likely we do go below this low. So lower lows are back on the menu. Absolutely they are. We did push higher. We did yesterday come back up a little bit and push, I'm sorry, we did push higher 2 days ago. We came down to the target areas that I assumed we would go to yesterday, right? The thought was, well, let's see, what we're on the 12th hour today. I probably did it like the 15th hour yesterday. The thought was when we were at like 68K that we would drop right down to this area and then recover. Well, we got that right, more or less. However, you didn't recover enough and you did not persist. And instead, you kept up with these lower highs and you have since rejected and gotten a lower low. At this point here, once we saw the lower low, that's pretty bad in itself. That's very suggestive. But once we broke through 66K, that was the real deal breaker, in my opinion, to provide that this is a higher low. I mean, obviously it is a higher low right now, but we're going to look back at it like this, right? This was a higher low, and now it's not. That's not the low we're basing it off of, right? We're likely going to see some volatility here, pick up to the downside. I don't believe what we're going to see is an extreme crash. A lot of people, I feel like I'm back in. I feel like I've stepped in a time machine because a lot of people throughout this whole period here are doing the same thing that a lot of people are doing this whole period here. Do you guys remember what was happening here? Do you remember? Everybody, every single person in the crypto space, bullish or bearish, they were saying, we're going to go back above 100K before the end of the year. It's going to happen. We're going to drop below 50K before the end of the year. It's going to happen. And all I was saying was, we're going to move sideways. Whatever pumps will dump, whatever dumps will pump. That's all it is. It's the same thing here. People are very, very loud. They're saying the same thing, right? Except in this scenario, I think more people are calling for the downside and a rather dramatic drop. People are talking about 30K and prices that are below 30K. People are talking about 10K, like crazy, crazy, crazy things. Even talking about going below 50K from here is crazy, you guys, honestly. We're not going to see a dramatic drop. I don't expect that we'll see a dramatic drop, at least. And again, the sentiment is very, very fearful. There are some people who are expecting the price to go up. I know that this was more prominent back here. It's probably less prominent right now, but there are a lot more people who are calling for like an immediate V-shaped recovery, and we never got that. It just seems very polarized. Nobody is really expecting that we're just going to move sideways, and I think that's exactly what we should expect. And of course, when I say moving sideways, of course, that also incorporates this low, right? Like we're going to see a lower low. Like here we moved sideways. Clearly, if you want to be super, super nitpicky, it wasn't sideways. We moved slightly to the upside, but we basically moved sideways, right? Can we all just use our brains a little bit, right? Obviously here you had lower lows, but you still moved sideways, right? Here you had lower lows, but you were still moving sideways. So it's the same thing. Just because we're moving sideways doesn't mean we can't see higher highs or lower lows. We likely do. We likely see both of those things, and that's exactly my expectation. I think that we'll go down, not too much. We'll scare people. We'll really freak people out. All the people who were super bullish or undecided, all they're going to need to see is a slightly lower low, and then what they're going to start doing is listening to all the people who are calling for crazy, crazy drops, because they're going to seem right. Whenever you're in a chaotic kind of atmosphere and you think you know what's going on or you don't know what to expect what's going on, and then things start to take shape and there's really, really loud voices who've been advocating for that shape, you're going to start to believe them. They're going to start to seem more educated and more reliable and blah, blah, blah. And really, we're all just human beings with emotions. And those emotions are going to be loudest, likely at the lows, lower lows, which will be absolutely a very bullish opportunity, a very bullish moment. People are going to be very bearish below this low. I want everybody to understand this is a bullish moment for Bitcoin, because likely from there, that'll be the point that we start to recover. And ultimately, I do believe that we'll get above these highs. I don't think that it'll be just like this. Maybe it is. We saw higher highs here. It took quite some time until we got to those higher highs. You know what I mean? It's not like a straight path up. I don't expect that between now and the end of April, that it's going to be exciting at all for Bitcoin or for crypto. There will be moments where things are exciting, and then there will be moments where it's just depressing, right? But it's exactly what I said about 2 minutes ago. Everything that gets pumped will get dumped into. Everything that dumps will get pumped into. It's just sideways. That's all we're doing. Probably. Let's look at the short-term stuff, and then we'll zoom out from there, okay? 1 hour time frame here. Picking up volume as we're coming down. You can see here, right here, we're moving sideways. When we break out, we had volume pick up. Here, we're consolidating again, and then when we move down, we have volume pick up. That's not good if you want the price to prevail, to the upside at least. Looking at the RSI is in the dumps. You had a little bit of fun here, and that was very short-lived. Now you're back down here. Overall, I mean, we look at this, guys. It's a pretty not pretty RSI. Stochastics look bearish, and the MACD just crossed back below the zero. Not good stuff. What happened the last time the MACD on the 1 hour crossed below the zero? It was right here. Did we drop immediately? No, but we had a big shift come. I don't know if I would expect something like this to happen. It can happen. But just because whenever we crossed back here, and then like less than a day later we did that, I don't know if I'm expecting that now. But notice that the cross did happen, like right here. Let me just double check. Nope, it happened a little bit earlier, like right there. And this was on the 14th hour of the 22nd of February. 2 days later, not even like a day and a half later, we went from a price of 67.4K to 62.7K. That was a $5,000 drop in 2 days. We just started crossing below like literally 3 hours ago, 4 hours ago. Yeah, so we've probably got another day or two of dumping. I bet we have a red weekend. That might be what happens. We might leave a gap to the upside to later then be filled. But this 1 hour time frame is depressing, to say the least. It's definitely not encouraging. None of this, in my opinion, makes me bullish. None of it suggests that we're going to go up. I hope I'm wrong. And on that note, if you want to prove me wrong, if you want to come back and write your snide comments and rub it in my face all you want, but then run away like a coward without a face who, you know, whenever I am right, which I am right most of the time, but that doesn't really matter. That doesn't really matter. I'm having a little bit of fun with the haters there because, again, if I'm wrong, you can have your cookie, whatever. It doesn't matter. I know you're going to run back to your caves whenever I'm right. That's how it always is. You guys are always loudest whenever I'm wrong, and I will be wrong. It's inevitable. By the way, anybody who does TA, even the greatest, right? Like Ben Cohen or Eric Crown or who's another good one. I mean, the chart guys are pretty good. There's plenty of good ones. Even Steve from Crypto Cruise is pretty good. They're all wrong at times. Everybody, there's no such thing as a perfect technical analyst out there. Everybody will be wrong. And the hyenas always come out to laugh whenever you're wrong, but they never, ever address whenever you're right. It's really funny. Anyways, $66,000. I'm getting way off track. Prove me wrong. Get a day to close above $68.8 thousand. Do that. It's the same thing that it was back here. You had 1 4 hour close above there, and that's nice. Get 2. But really get a day to close above this level. If you do that, I'm wrong. It's not that hard. We're at $66.1 thousand right now. All we have to do is move up like $2,500. I'm talking about moving down $5,000 over the next 2 days. Maybe not. You know, it might be more, it might be less. $2,500 for Bitcoin. I don't think it's that difficult to do. That's all it would take, but I highly doubt that you do that at this point. Overall, you've maintained this lower high, lower low structure. You're definitely in a channel down here. I mean, this just seems like this was the best bull trap out of any of these recent moves here. Like this one really, I think, got a lot of people. It got me excited, man. I was getting very excited, especially seeing this kind of stuff. The hope of recovery at this 382, but man, when we went from the 382, we couldn't even hit the 236, and now we're back below the 382. Guys, statistically speaking, we're going to the golden ratio. And if we go to the golden ratio, statistically speaking, from here, we've already interacted with the golden ratio once, right? You interact with it once, statistically, you are likely to bounce. The second time, you are likely not to bounce. So again, from here, the fact that we've gone below the 382, the odds are we go down here, and the odds are this level doesn't hold because it's the second interaction. So we're going to go here. It's going to be a lower low matched with a lower high. We're probably moving down, I would assume, over the coming 3 to 4 days, down to this 62.3 to 61.2K area. Now, there is a chance that this could be the low. But again, we'd have to go all the way back up here to validate that. There are plenty of things that we can do to help get bullish along the way, and I'll be dynamic and flexible with that. But my assumption at this moment is what it has largely been throughout this range, is that we're going to see lower lows. I personally don't believe that we get down as low as 53.7K, but that is the lowest I could see us going. I personally don't think we go down here, but I accept it as a possibility. This, I don't think we're going down to, but I don't accept as a possibility. Anything's possible. We could go lower. Of course, I realize all this, but that's not what I'm saying. This is my call for the lowest possible outcome. If it goes lower than that, we're really in trouble, guys. Maybe the people who are screaming we're going below 50K are right after all. I'll start looking to them too. 55.7K to 57.1K. I think this is a pretty highly likely area to go to. But the most, it's in this highly likely range. I think that also something to incorporate would be the 2618 here from a low to a high, which is at 58.8K. I really, really like the idea of us bouncing right off that 2618 because, first and foremost, we've shown resistance at the 1618. We've shown support at the 618, the golden ratio. It's serendipitous to go to the 2618. And I know that some people might be like, oh, you just wanted to go to the 2618 because it sounds serendipitous. That's how the fibs are, man. They are serendipitous. And, fun fact, we showed resistance at the 2618 on almost every single major top that we had in this last bull cycle. The 2618 literally was like every single major top that we had. Let's see, from a high to a low here. That was the 1886. That's the 2272. That's not a good example. Okay, that one was not a good example. But still, 1886, deep extension. Here you take this high. Oh, come on, man. It's because I'm so zoomed out. That's why. If I take this high here, almost there, to the low, the 2618 is exactly where you found resistance once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, almost 6 times. You found resistance over here, and then you broke through it. If I took the high to low here, you'd see that high there is also at the 2618 right there. Right? 2618 right there. If I took this high to low here, you'd see that was at the 2618. Like it's just happened several times. Anyways, we don't have to find support at 58.8K. We could find support somewhere lower. But this target zone that I had circled here from this fib lines up predominantly with this part. So I'm going to say 55, let's say 56K to about 58.8K. That's the target that I personally have in mind. We could double bottom. We could form a higher low at the 886. Not on this fib, the 886 at the relative fib. We could go lower. But I doubt that we go lower than here. I doubt that we don't at least go to about 62 to 61K. But my expectation heavily is in this $58.8 to $56,000 area. That's what I think is going to happen. And if I see anything that suggests that we're going to do something otherwise, that's fine. But so far what we're seeing is a whole lot of confirmation that we have lower to go. Rejecting the overbought zone, not a good look there, of course. Stochastics look bearish now. The MACD is very disappointing, man. It's very disappointing. This right here was an attempt to cross above the zero and you rejected. Not good. This was an attempt to cross above the zero. You even did. And it was a false cross. And later you rejected as you were trying to cross again. Here, we're trying to cross again. And it looks like, based on the 1 hour and the dynamics that are at play here, we're going to get another false cross. Like, we're trying, man. We're trying. But the bears are clearly in control. They are clearly in control, you guys. Let's look at the daily time frame. Yeah, this is bad. Lower highs, higher highs. You see it, right? Bearish divergence. It's hidden bearish divergence. Stochastics got it going on too. The MACD's got it going on too. You're building bullish momentum, but what are you doing? It's like you're trying harder, right? Like we're literally seeing this. You're getting stronger readings here, stronger readings here, stronger readings here, and yet you're getting lower highs. You're trying harder and getting less results. That's not encouraging. That's not good. lower. That's all I got. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one, okay? Take care of yourselves. And buy the dip. Peace.